This lesson's on columns, specifically newsletter style columns. There are several ways of getting the same effect or similar effect. You can use tables to have data in one column, and then you can put data in a different column. However, if you're looking for a newspaper or a newsletter style column, of course you want to type all of your information in first. Then my recommendation, there are several ways of doing this, but my recommendation is you put your insertion point in front of the area where you want to go into many columns. So we're going to leave our title at the very top, unaffected by the columns. Then we're going to take everything else and put it into two columns. So from here, I would go to page layout, and then I'd go to columns, but don't click two, because it's going to take everything and put it into two columns. So rather than do that, go to more columns, ask for two, but then here's the key. Ask for this point forward. In other words, wherever my insertion point is, forward, make that into two columns. So now it's left this in one column, and this would allow me to center that text if I wanted to, and change the size of it, and you'll notice how it doesn't affect the rest of it. I can even hit enter up there to give myself some more space separating these two sections. When you go from one column to two columns, you automatically get a new section. So that's why you're seeing this non-printing section break here. So we have one section with one column, and we have a second section with two columns. Now, there are several ways of, or at least a couple of ways, to balance this out. Because if I scroll and roll here and I zoom out a little bit, I'll see that these don't really balance. I can try to guess and say this would look better if it were in the next column, and I could put that over there with what's called a column break. So here I could probably go to I'm looking for the break here, so I went to page layout and breaks, and I can ask for a column break, and that just shot everything that was in front of my insertion point over to the next column. There's a shortcut for that. Not sure if you'll remember it, but it's Control Shift Enter. Shift Enter is a page break, and that will give you a new page. Control Shift Enter gives you a new column. Now I picked a brand new paragraph as a good spot to put a column break. The other thing that you can do, if this is it for your document and this is all you've got, you can go to the very end of your document and you can insert a section break, a continuous section break. And that will automatically balance your two column area. And then you can try to play with your line spacing to try to make this look maybe a little bit better. You can maybe go 1.5 lines between. What you're looking for is that you don't go on to 2 pages. And I did. I just barely went on to 2 pages. Okay, so that wouldn't quite work. So I'd want to play with maybe spacing before and spacing after, just to get things so they take up more of my document. I might want to play with the fonts, that type of thing. I'm just going to undo a couple times, just to give you some more ideas as to what your options are with the columns. Now I chose 2 even columns, but you don't need to do that. You can choose all kinds of different presets columns. So here I can ask for 3 columns. I can ask for a really narrow column on the left and then a wide one on the right. It really depends on what it is you're trying to achieve with your document. Regardless of the one you choose, I would probably, if you've got a title, I would definitely ask for this point forward. That way you can leave your title alone and center it on your document, and then have everything else in 2 columns or 3 columns, whatever it is you choose. You can even, I'm going to go back here and undo. You can even go 2 columns in one area and then go back to 1 column later on. So let's say that I wanted to go 2 columns for the beginning and then the conclusion back to 1 column. So again, I would type the whole thing in, and then as far as your breaks are concerned, I would go, I would come here and say 2 this point forward, and OK. And then if you want to go back to 1 from this point forward, put your insertion point here, and then go columns, and go 1, and then this point forward. So then you actually have a document where you go from 1 column, and I can center this and change the size, right? And hit enter to give it one more little space. And then to 2, and then I can finish it back with 1. So you can skip back and forth as long as you remember to say from this point forward.